Hey everyone, it's Heather Nichols, and I'm so excited to introduce the Seaside Escape card making kit and 3 mini slim cards that I created with it. Let's take a look at what is included in the kit. All of our kits come in a vinyl zipper bag and have a sticker on them with the kit name. The layered stencil set has 4 stencils and will create 3 mini slim size card backgrounds. This stencil set will give you all the beachy vibes. There's a lighthouse, a sailboat, and a whole bunch of seashells. The clear stamps in the set include a dolphin, a whale tail, and birds that you can add to your beachy scenes. The At the Beach accessories die cuts out sand, clouds, and a sun. The You're a Treasure stamp set has all sorts of beach and nautical theme sentiments. And the Insider's Seaside Escape panels include all sorts of sentiments that you can use inside of your cards. Additional panels are available to purchase outside of the kit. There are a few other add-on products that you can purchase to go alongside your kit. First up is the Mini Slim Layer Stacklets and additional Mini Slim Layer Stacklets die collections. The Triple Slim At the Beach cutting plate to cut out all of the seashells. The coordinating dies for the You're a Treasure stamp set. And the Seaside Escape envelope seals. Here are the additional supplies that I used for my projects. First of all, ink. I used Nocturne VersaFine Clair, Cookie Monster and Blue Raspberry, Cotton Candy and Snow Cone, Blueberry and Blue Corn, Honey, Sweet Potato Pie, and Mocha. I used Bitty blender brushes, Pixie spray, bleed-proof white ink, chocolate truffle liquid watercolor, and a water brush for splatters, foam squares, and multimedia matte, and bits and pieces teal glitter drops. Okay, let's start crafting. I've got a piece of cardstock that is 5 3/4 by 9 3/4, and that's going to fit within the guide on the Triple Slim stencil. I've got a layer of Pixie spray sprayed on the back of my stencil. This is the first stencil that we're going to use, and I'll line that up on the toffee cardstock using the etched alignment guides on the stencil. I'm also going to adhere my cardstock down to my paper placemat, and then I'm taking a pen and I'm coloring in the square guides on the outside edges of the stencil. Using the square guides like this is going to help you line up everything perfectly when you switch out the stencil layers. I'm stenciling this first layer with Cookie Monster and Blue Raspberry inks. I'll lay down the Cookie Monster ink color first, and then I'll come back with the Blue Raspberry and add shading. Once I am done, I will peel off that stencil and we'll move on to layer number 2. Use the square guides and the etched alignment guide, and also you can see the pattern through the stencil to get everything lined up perfectly. I'm stenciling layer number 2 with honey ink, and then I'll come back in with sweet potato ink to add shading. I'll swap out my stencil for layer number 3, again using all of the alignment guides to get everything lined up perfectly. I started off with cotton candy ink on layer number 3, and then went back in and added shading with snow cone ink. Taking off this third stencil, the images are really starting to come to life, and we have one more layer, so layer number 4. For this last layer, I started with blueberry ink, and then I added shading with blue corn ink. Peeling off this last stencil reveals the completed designs, and I just really love how these turned out. I think they're super fun and perfect for summer. I added splatters to my images using chocolate truffle liquid watercolor and the bleed-proof white ink. I used a water brush and I picked up the color with the brush and then tapped the brush on my finger to splatter. Next, I cut the panels apart. I measured along the long side of the cardstock and cut each panel at 3 1/4 inches. I took the seashell panel and cut out all of the seashells at once with the Triple Slim At the Beach cutting plate. I lined the die up over the stenciled seashells, added scotch removable tape to hold everything in place, and ran it right through my die cut machine. I also cut out sand, clouds, and sun with the At the Beach accessory dies from toffee, sugar cube, and honey cardstock. I added shading to the top edges of the sand pieces and to one side of the sun using mocha ink. And of course, everything needed a good splatter. I picked out 3 sentiments from the You're a Treasure stamp set to use on my cards. Seize the Day, Sending Love and Light, and You're a Treasure. I set these up in my MISTI with a piece of sugar cube cardstock and stamped them with Nocturne VersaFine Clair ink. I cut the sentiments out with the coordinating dies. Okay, let's put these cards together. I am adding elements to each of the designs. For the sailboat card, I'm adding the sun and some clouds, the sentiment, and then at the front of the card, at the very bottom, is the sand and a seashell. I popped up the sentiment and the seashell with foam tape and then once I had everything adhered, I trimmed the clouds even with the sides of the panel. For the lighthouse card, I also added clouds, I added the sentiment, and then at the bottom edge of the card, I added the sand and another seashell. Again, I used foam adhesive to pop up the sentiment and the seashell, and I trimmed the clouds even with the edges of the panel. I'm doing the seashell card in a horizontal format. I added sand to each of the bottom corners of the card, and then I am arranging the seashells kind of like they have washed up onto shore, and I'm going to pop each of them up with foam tape, and I'll also pop the sentiment up with foam tape. For a touch of sparkle, I decided to add teal glitter drops to all of the cards. I scattered glitter drops throughout all the seashells on the seashell card, and then on the other two cards I added a few glitter drops just right around the seashells. I added each of my card panels to a piece of tropical punch cardstock that is cut to mini slim size, which is 3.5 inches by 6 inches, and I popped these up with the 1x3 foam tape. I did trim the tape just a little bit to fit on the back of the panels. Then I added each of these panels to toffee mini slim card bases. Here's a closer look at all 3 of the cards. Didn't they turn out great? I hope you enjoyed learning more about the new Seaside Escape card making kit, and I hope you learned something new. You can find the supplies that I used to create my cards in the Tailored Expressions web store at tailoredexpressions.com. Thanks so much for joining me, everybody, and I'll see you next time.